Hi, welcome to another video. I thought I'd try a different operating system, NixOS. Looks like I need to install it before I can use it, but that's fine by me. This is a laptop that I'm quite happy to just try different operating systems on. It's only got 2 GB of RAM though. It's got a dual core processor and it's got a 31 GB eMMC drive as the main boot drive in this laptop. So if this is an install process, we'll need to install it on this laptop before we can use the operating system. Hopefully this will be a graphical user interface installer rather than text-based, which should make things easier for us. The problem with this laptop is the battery and it is dead, so it needs to be powered, plugged into the power all the time. You can see how much power it's using over here in the corner. And apart from, that, it can run okay with a light operating system. So let's see what we've got here. We seem to have a desktop. We'll probably need to connect to the internet. Oh look, the computer does not satisfy the minimum requirements for installing NixOS. Installation cannot continue. That's a little bit harsh. Perhaps if I connect to the internet, it might let us. Okay, so we've connected to the internet and it seems that we are going to be able to install it. So let's just go through this process. Just going to go with defaults to get things up and running. And of course I would recommend using a more secure password. Maybe it's going to force me to use a more secure password. It looks like it's going to make me use a more secure password. That's unfortunate. Oh no, we can carry on. We've got a choice of desktop, Gnome, Plasma, Plasma 5, XFCE, Pantheon, Cinnamon, Mate or Mate, Enlightenment, LXQT. That says it's a lightweight one. Budgie, feature rich, modern, deep in. That looks quite nice. But let's go for LXQT. That sounds like it's going to be a lightweight one. XFCE is also light. But Gnome does look quite nice. I'll go for Gnome. I'm not sure if I've used Gnome before. I might have forgotten. Okay, yeah, let's just completely wipe the drive, and it's going to set us up with the swap file and boot and give us quite a bit of sort of storage compared to what was on there. So that's the right drive at the top. Summary, yep, okay. Is there meant to be a next button that I'm supposed to be able to see? Maybe I can click install. Nope. Ah, there we go. I can see the install button. Sounds and looks like a nice operating system to use. This install process went quite smoothly. And let's just see how this goes. It's going quite quickly with the install process. I think the image on the USB drive that I've booted from is 2.5 gigabytes, so that's quite small, not too big. I may have made a mistake going for Gnome. Gnome may require more memory, but we'll see what happens. And I could always switch to a different desktop environment if needed. NixOS is an independent Linux distribution, and hopefully it's still installing it. I think this has got stuck. It's not doing anything, so I'll restart it and give it another try. This is our second attempt at installing it. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. And we're going to go with LXQT because it's lightweight. And let's just erase the disk, add a swap, and try and get this going. I've opened up a system monitor. It's at 46%. I think it's still doing stuff. It's high CPU usage. We've got network activity, and we've also got read and write activity happening. So I think maybe I just wait a long time for something to happen and then come back when something does happen. Okay, it's all done. It's been installed on your computer. You may now restart into your new system or continue using the live environment. You can change every setting later except the bootloader. Great, let's restart. So I'll take the USB drive out so that it boots from this. And we'll see how long it takes to boot up. Just move this a little bit so you can see what's going on. And we're on the desktop. That was quite quick. It looks completely different because we did select a different desktop environment. We've got the desktops or workspaces to choose from. We've got a sort of start button menu with some accessories. Preferences, etc. Configuration center, appearance options, and let's see if we can bring up some information on how much memory is being used. So I've opened the terminal. We should be able to have a look at top, and that should tell us some information. So we've got memory 1.8 gigabytes total, 1.1 gigabytes free, 469, 470 megabytes used. That's quite good, that's quite low. And we've got a swap file, but none of it is used. So that's looking pretty good. I'll connect to the internet or connect to my Wi-Fi and we'll see what it's like on the internet. So it looks like there isn't a graphical user interface on here to let me connect to my Wi-Fi. I'm looking for network settings. I'm not finding anything. So yeah, do I need to run a command line tool to connect to Wi-Fi? So if I had a Synaptic Package Manager, perhaps I could add some extra tools, but it looks like I don't have a package manager. Unless QPS, what's that? No, that's a system monitor. This leaves me in a position where I'm kind of stuck, not being able to connect to Wi-Fi. This laptop doesn't actually have a network socket, so I can't plug in a wired connection. Perhaps this is just because I've got the LXQT desktop rather than a different desktop. I think I'm going to need to try and reinstall this again and use a different desktop. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. It's quite frustrating and not much fun. But this looks cool. Okay, we're back. We've installed the operating system. We've got the GNOME desktop and it's offering us a tour. So why don't we have a quick look at the tour and see what that's like. So this is NixOS 24.11. It gives us an overview. Press the Super Windows key to open it. Do we do that now? It's got search, workspaces, swipe up and down, swipe left and right, and that's it. Okay, great. So this makes it really easy to connect to the Wi-Fi. I've just clicked up here and I've got these things, which mean it's quite easy to get to what I want. So this is our desktop. We've got the workspaces, and pressing this or pressing the Windows key brings up the things along the bottom like web, calendar, music, files. It's got quite a nice sort of friendly desktop documents, downloads, music, videos, etc. Public pictures, quite an easy to understand home screen, etc. And then we've got apps and we've got utilities. Let's just have a look. We've got a settings over here. And console. Let's just have a look at top. We've got 524 megabytes free, 848 megabytes of RAM used. Why don't we load up the web? What is this based on? Web, part of the GNOME project. Okay, fine. Let's have a look at WebGL Aquarium. we're getting about 50 frames per second, which is pretty good. Slows down a bit when we add more fish, as you'd expect, but that's nice and smooth. Let's just have a look at YouTube. A little bit slow, but this is the first time we've been on this website with this laptop. Let's mute the adverts. Do you think it's going to let me skip it? No. It's going to give me 2 adverts. Well, that's fun. And it's not letting me skip this one either. Okay, it's a little bit slow. Could be my Wi-Fi connection. It responds fairly quickly when I switch between the different modes. Maybe if I kind of go to a position in the video, we might be able to get it to start working. Not really sure what's happening here. This is taking way longer than it should. I played the adverts fine. It's now going to show us some more adverts. Always fun. Okay, so it's actually playing it. Let's have a look at the sound. And let's adjust the sound while we're here.
I've not tried this before.
That all works fairly well.
If it boots up successfully, we can...
And let's have a look at a part of the video where we do this. Switch to full screen. It is doing quite a lot of buffering. I have been having some internet problems, so that could be related. I'm not getting anywhere with this, so I'm going to try Firefox instead and see if we get any better results. We've still got memory free, so we shouldn't be having any problems really. Okay, so this seems to be playing much better. Seems to be working fine. So let's have a look at the stats. It's using the VP09 codec, and we're at 480. So let's see what happens if we switch it up to, I don't know, 1080p. And it seems to be playing okay. So there is some slowdown, I think, but it works. Let's try some web browsing, see how many tabs we can open. And this is just default. We haven't got any ad blockers on here, or we haven't used any kind of thing to speed things up. Seems to be running okay. I mean, it is a slow laptop. We can't expect it to be extremely fast, but scrolling is quick enough. It did freeze a little bit then, but it is still loading a couple of bits over here. We've got about 6 tabs open at the moment. And we're still memory free, which is quite nice to see. So let's have a quick look at this. No, it's just the wiki that I want, isn't it? Yep, this is the one. This is just a really long web page, so it's got a lot of content to load, got a lot of text to load, and then all the images that go with it. And this has been a problem on some operating systems. When we've tried this, we haven't necessarily had a good amount of luck. But this seems to be coping fine. Let's see if I can just, no, it doesn't scroll down, it just takes me all the way to the bottom when I click. This looks fine. It seems to work quite well. Let's see if we can add some applications. Is there a package manager with this? Contacts where the clock, camera, maps, extensions, videos, calculator, manual, manage printing, tour, help, xterm, extensions. Let's have a look what that does. Here we can have an apps menu. Why not? System monitor, let's have that. Oh look, it's put it up there, that's cool. So what was the other one? Apps menu. Ah, I see. And then how do we add apps? User themes. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like we can find NixOS packages on the NixOS packages website. So let's just see if we're going to find Quake. Quake 3 demo. And how do we install it? We use this command. Great, let's try that. Okay. So there's an error. We need to enable the use of unfree applications. That was an option during the install. I didn't tick it, so I need to enable it. So to enable unfree applications, I need to edit a configuration file, as it sort of explains here. So I just need to read this basically. Temporary allow unfree, you can use environment variable. Configure the config files. So I need to do that. I'm not going to bother at the moment. I don't have any interest really in messing around with config files, but you know, I probably should spend some time doing that to get the most out of this operating system. And I think I really should have just selected the option when I had the option during the install process. It's quite a nice looking operating system. Seems quite smooth. It doesn't seem to have snap windows where I can sort of snap it to one side. Can move this to another workspace. That's quite useful. And there's a search up here. And here are, you know, the instructions for editing the home manager. And there's a hell of a lot of packages. So, yeah, this is NixOS. It's quite Seems quite responsive. You know, I haven't experienced any crashing. I was perhaps a little bit impatient with the install. I should have just waited for it to finish. We've got a system monitor here. I did have a problem with the other desktop that I tried, but this one seems to be working fine. Yeah, can't really complain. I think maybe if I reinstall this, allow unfree applications, then I might have quite a nice experience with this operating system. Have you tried this operating system, NixOS? Seems good to me. I think they want to keep it, you know, quite secure, I guess. Not allowing certain applications to be installed can make things simpler, but you could also find it limiting. But you can switch that feature off or on, and yeah, I think this is pretty good. Let's have a look in settings. So this settings screen looks very familiar. I think I've seen this in a different Linux operating system, and it looks really easy. Oh look, I can just switch on these active edges. That's great. You can choose different colors, different backgrounds. Okay, I've got some app settings here. Yeah, this is nice. We've even got some hardware information, such as the hardware model, HP Stream Laptop 11, Intel Celeron N3060, 2 GB of memory, and a 31 GB drive. Those are the graphics and firmware version, as well as the operating system, GNOME version, Windows system Wayland, and the Linux kernel 6.6.83. So if you found this interesting, let me know in the comments. Hopefully it's been useful to see how this performs. It does actually work okay on this laptop, and it's got a really slow processor and only 2 GB of memory and a low amount of disk capacity. Should we have a look and see sort of how much space is used? We should be able to see that in disk usage analyzer. And I really like this bit up here that's giving us the processor, network, and I think that's the memory usage, 70%. So we've got 17.4 GB available. So it's used about 10 GB. But it's nice to see this disk utility in here that's going to have a look at what's going on. Yeah. So this is showing us the disk usage. 7.8 GB is the Nix operating system, and it has these nice, interesting, colourful graphics to show us. Quite like that. And you can drill down and have a look what's using all this space. Useful. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in another video. Bye.